Tubers, family and friends. Edward here in the jungle of the Philippines. Yeah, we went to Mapong, which is the village near our house this morning, and got some fruits and vegetables. The only fruits we bought was bananas, but mostly vegetables. And we had, some little errands and stuff to do there this morning. But I'm back home now. Yesterday I had an incident with my pool pump. This one right here, I was circulating and I had one of the drops run out of water on the infinity wall outside, and it sucked air in the system, and this pump here become vapor locked. If you know what that means the water wouldn't pump out of it, but yet the pump kept running and there was no water in it. It was just a bubble of air that was stuck in there, and it just kept running with no water, so it got really hot. So I don't know if it damaged the pump. It might have damaged the pump and might have shit the bed. I don't know. When I came down here and noticed it, it was just this plastic pipe was hot. I pulled the cover off the screen here, and the water was almost boiling hot. So, and I can see, the wetness on the floor here. It's leaking because it got so hot. It probably was leaking through on the housing here where it goes together. So I need to probably tighten those bolts back up now because it expanded so much from getting so hot. So I'm going to test it now just to see if the pump still works or if I need to replace it. I have a replacement pump that I brought with me several years ago, and just for this kind of reason, but I'm hoping it's going to be okay. We'll test it here. I'm going to open up my suction, go into the pump here, and let's see if it. Let's see all my valves. Open this one here. We're good. Maybe that was part of the reason, because I had washed these, I had pulled these filters the other day, and maybe I left this valve closed and didn't double check it. That would have been doing it too. I just now noticed that valve was closed. Maybe that was the problem. I hope not. I hope the pump's going to be okay. Damn it. Okay, let's turn it on here and see. We'll go out and see if it comes out of the discharge. Well, it looks like it's all done there. Hopefully it's okay. I don't know. But yeah, as far as the world scene goes right now, it's looking bad, looking real bad. They're cutting off funds to people, and their banks are restricting the cash they can get out of banks. Oh yeah, I can see the ripple on the water right there. That's from discharge from that pump coming out of this nozzle right here. Oh yeah, it's coming out. Okay, so it's still working, thank God for that. And that, I probably screwed up on that. Accidentally left that discharge valve open. That's my fault. That would have been bad if the pump would have been bad. Well, the filter looks good. The whole pool looks really clean. We cleaned it up real good yesterday, but it only takes a day or two to get dirty, especially if it's windy. When you're in the deep jungle, it's amazing just the fine particles that are coming off all the foliage. So, we got lots of jungle around, right? And just the particles that blow off all the leaves and the foliage in the jungle, unbelievable amounts of dust. I mean, it's not as bad as when I lived in the deserts of Las Vegas, but it's pretty close. It's just weird. So I'm gonna run these pumps for a little while. So at least I know this thing's leaking a little bit here. I'm gonna try to identify where it's coming from. And maybe some of these bolts are loosened up. Seems to be okay, but there's definitely water leaking somewhere. I just can't tell where it's coming from. Might have cracked the housing somewhere. I don't see it. I don't see it anywhere on the sides of the top. Maybe it's coming from the bottom somewhere. Well, I'll just keep an eye on it the next couple of days and see. This pump here, pump number 1, is like 2 or 3 times louder than pump 2. Why, I don't know what it is. I'll let you hear it here in a second. Okay, here we go. See, it's like twice as loud. That should be good enough there. Got one skimmer completely open, and the skimmer 2 I got cracked. Should be fine. Okay, I'm gonna let that run for a couple hours. But that's one thing. Usually a man throughout life sabotages himself more than outside factors. We can shut this off now. So yeah, everybody makes mistakes in life. You just got to deal with them best you can, and hopefully it doesn't cost you too much. Good luck. So yeah, it's let me see if I got any pest birds. I had a couple comments from some girls because I get these either pigeons or red-eyed demon blackbirds up perching and trying to make nests in the tower, and I'll use my little pellet gun here, and most of the time I miss and scare them, but once in a while, once every few shots, I'll hit one, and they're all up in arms that I was killing birds. Well, you know, those birds are so destructive when they shit, and that's the only 2 birds in all the jungle that I shoot. You know, all the songbirds and all the little Tweety birds, and so I don't kill them. I only kill the ones that are a problem, and these red-eyed demon birds are bad. I mean, they'll tear your shit up and destroy it. That's how bad they shit. When they shit, it's like a 3-foot radius of shit, and it splatters everywhere, and you're there for days trying to clean up their mess, right? So those are the only ones I kill. And then pigeons, of course, they're winged rats, and we actually eat the pigeons if they look healthy and they aren't carrying a disease. I don't personally eat them, but I would if I was hungry. Some of the neighbors really like them. It's a delicacy for some, and it's almost, they're like a small chicken. They're so big, right? There's one chicken right there that's in my yard that flew over my high walls, and so we have one roaming chicken. So I'm letting him get big, and then we'll harvest him here after a while. So there's either neighbor chickens or, because most of the chickens here aren't in any cages or penned areas. The native chickens they're roaming all over the place. I mean, literally, you'll go through the jungle and oh, here comes a bunch of chickens, mother with 10 or 12 baby chicks just walking along just beside her. I mean, they're all over. So between all the fruit that's growing wild throughout the whole entire jungle, you know, from coconuts to mangoes to bananas to, I mean, you name it. There's fruits here that are unbelievably delicious. It'll blow your socks off of how delicious they are, that you've never even heard of before, right? And it grows wild everywhere. And a lot of the fruits, you have to be with one of the natives, one of the Filipinos here to tell you if that fruit is good to eat or not, right? And literally, my family here, my Filipino family, they go out in the both on our land and out in the wild jungle, and they understand what you can eat and what you can't eat. Just like all kinds of foliage, big leaves of stuff. My wife calls it green leafy, but there's like 20 different varieties of green leafy that they pick, and they bring it in, they wash it up, they cook it up with other vegetables like squash or beans or whatever, and we eat that almost every day here. I mean, it's amazing when you're living out in the jungle, what you can harvest out of the jungle to survive off of. It's unbelievable. Right, hon? How many different varieties of green leafy do we pick in the jungle and eat every day? Several varieties.
4.
At least.
Malunggay, sweet potato leaf, and then kangkong, then likway. I don't know.
What's the little tiny leaf?
That's a malunggay that you prepare me.
Malunggay, yeah.
2 weeks pregnant in Cebu.
Yeah.
That I'm complaining of it because you don't know how to remove the steam.
But now some of the names I've heard, and I could recognize just by looking at it, if it's something you can eat or not. 2 or 3 of those varieties. Kangkong or whatever you call it, that's real good too. I've ate that many times. But that's another thing. I encourage you, when you come to Philippines, don't go in the city. A time is coming for probably the next few decades that times are going to be very dark and if you're not self-sufficient and can harvest your own vegetables and fruits and grow your own animals to slaughter and eat, you're going to be very, very poor. Just like in the Great Depression of the 1930s, the farmers that were able to hold on to their land, they suffered the least of all the other people in the United States, but the people in the cities suffered the most. And the poverty was unbelievable, right? And that's what's coming, but worse, because of all the money manipulations that the banksters and the government and the corporations have done, driving all the mom and pop businesses out of business. That's another thing about the Philippines. There's mom and pop businesses everywhere. Every single road you go on, every single corner that you're at, there's a mom and pop business there. And a lot of them have the same snacks and canned goods and stuff like that, like a general store, like in the old West in the U.S. These Western towns, they like had a general store that had all kinds of different, just general things, some hardware, some clothing, some food, some snacks, some conveniences like medicines and utensils and coffee pots, and I mean, right? It's just like a general store. They're all over the Philippines. That's one thing I love about the Philippines, because they have to be like that. Why? Because there's islands, 7,000 plus islands spread all over the Philippine archipelago, right? And mom and pop businesses are everywhere. They don't get rich off them, but they make a few pesos here and there that helps their family survive, right? And that's what it's all about, being self-sufficient, because there's so many people dependent on the system. Half of them when the financial system's going to collapse. And like I say, I just got word from a couple of tubers there in Europe that they've restricted taking out euros out of the bank of their own accounts, and they go through an authorization deal on all their online banking. You have to go through an authorization, get a code, like an SMS code back and everything before you do your online banking. And they've made that app that they've provided all their banking people there, all their bank customers, that this app, they've slowed it way down so where you can't even get your SMS codes back to do your online banking. They've slowed that system down to almost a halt because they don't want people taking money out of the bank anymore or doing their banking, because the banks are having bank runs big time. They're restricting how much cash you can withdraw. They're doing everything that they can in their power to slow or to stop the bank runs that are going on right now worldwide, really. It's real bad in Europe right now because everybody's panicking with the whole war situation ramping up every single day in Europe, right? With Ukraine and all the immigrants going over the borders and all the European countries, just like, but worse than it is at our southern border in the U.S. there. And so it's just absolute pandemonium and chaos going on right now in the entire world. And the only way you're going to escape it is if you can. Now it's so late in the game. Get rid of everything you got. Take what you got in your family and get over to the Philippines and get into the deep jungle. And I've chosen a place where it's away from all the natural disasters, like the hurricanes and the typhoons, that you can't get affected by it here. You can get some tropical storms every once in a while we'll get for a couple days, but you know, it's nothing compared to some of the real dangerous parts of the Philippines where all the hurricanes come from. I'm on the leeward side of the biggest island in the Philippines, in Mindanao here. And a lot of the foreigners don't want to come to Mindanao. Why? Because the State Department of the U.S. and all the other state departments say, oh, don't go there, it's dangerous. Well, I'm here to tell you that's all bull crap, because I've never had a problem. I've been here over 8 years. And yes, I've heard of bad situations, but usually the people that get themselves in bad situations put themselves in bad situations. Like flaunting their money around and going out at night, you know, to bad areas. Just you have a little common sense. I mean, anywhere in the world, if you do that stuff, you're going to put yourself in a big, huge problem, right? So I love the Philippines here because, you can create a sense of community around you. Everyone's so friendly and nice, and just treat them with respect. They'll treat you with respect. As far as the women go, good luck, because yes, they're beautiful, and the young Filipino wants to go out with you and all that, especially if you have any kind of a wherewithal or a pension coming in every day. Hi, Papa. So Papa was we got him a t-shirt today for senior citizen meetings, and he's also in a club or a organization, a senior citizen organization of this area, that if a senior passes away, you give the organization 150 pesos. Then they pool all that money together and then give that to the family for the funeral costs and stuff. It's a good deal, but whenever someone dies, if you're part of that organization, you got to give 150 pesos. So we did that here yesterday too. And then the government gives Papa, I think, only 1,000 pesos per month. It's part of their social system here. I don't know what you call it, but it's very tiny though, right? 1,000 pesos a month. And there's no way he could survive normally without having our help, you know. So it's good. And what the siblings here are supposed to chip in. Papa has 11 siblings or 10, maybe 10, or I shouldn't say siblings for Papa, it's children. I think 10 children are left. I think they had 11 and one died, one got murdered years ago, 15 years ago. But yeah, so all the children are supposed to care for the parents. That's what they do in the Philippines mostly. But because of the siblings always fighting back and forth amongst each other, which has gotten real bad all over the world, really. I mean, siblings rarely agree with each other, or they go separate ways or have different beliefs, and then the arguments start, and then they basically separate to each other, and that's normal. That's absolutely normal. But you know, it doesn't happen all the time, and then usually it's like half of them agree with each other and half of them don't, right? So that's what's going on in this family with my wife's siblings. Is I think she has, and the biggest reason why most of them don't like her is because every time they ask her for money, my wife says no, right? And the only reason why they're asking her for money is because I'm the foreigner, and I have unlimited money, they think, to give to anyone that asks for it. And that's very common here. So don't let, you know, you got to be careful of that. I don't mind helping those that are worth helping. And it's amazing, out of the 10 children they are siblings of my wife, there's only 3 that are hardworking and don't ask for money all the time, and those are the ones I'll help. If they have emergency in the family, one of their children are in the hospital or anything like that, then I help. If I can, I will help. And I told my wife, hon, I, as long as our family's cared for, if I have extra, you know, that's not going to get us into trouble by giving, I will. Absolutely. That's what family's about. If they can really dig down and their worth on it, and when I say their worth on it, children in my book are before the age of 9 are completely innocent to the world, and they are always worth on it. They're the only ones I think deserve our help, guidance, and love. After that, it gets to be where they're their own mind, their own person, their own way, and they're going to do what they want. They're either going to obey what their parents taught them, or they're going to go on their own and believe something else, right? So it's important to instill what you think is right and your beliefs in your children before age 9. Absolutely. So good luck with that. In today's day and age with internet and social media, it's almost impossible. Like Ruel, he's right there with Zell, right? They stay in our house and they help out around here, and I actually pay them a salary every single week because, you know, there's things to do around a big place like this, and they're worth on it, and they're really good people. They're good, hard work. Ruel's the one that does he's the foreman of all the work that I ever have done around here, including all my coconut harvesting. We have over 350 coconut trees that we harvest 3 times a year, and he does all that, and that's extra money that he gets from the harvest, right? And then so they have 2 daughters, and one daughter, they both they put both their daughters in a private school, and they were both getting good grades. I mean, really good grades. They were always in the top 10 of their class, right? And the oldest one is still in private school. The youngest one started getting swayed away from what's doing right by social media and people online, and got all messed up and started doing things against the parents and disrespect and all that stuff. And she now got pulled out of private school because she can't focus on it. She's all messed up in the head. So now she's just around here all the time. So anyways, that's what happens, right? So if you have one child, good luck to you, because maybe they're going to be one of the bad ones. But if you have many children, at least some of them are going to be good. It's the odds are there's going to be some of them good and some of them bad. Some of them might agree with you, some of them might not agree with you, but they're still good. I mean, it's all about bringing people, your children up in the ways of the Lord, and then they're going to go on their own way. And if you train them well, they'll come back to that someday once they learn what the truth is. But speaking of the truth, Tucker Carlson now is in Russia doing an interview with Putin and the CIA and all the evil cabal. The U.S. is trying to stop it. Tried to stop it 2 different times. Finally, he got over there to do an interview with Putin, the president of Russia, because everyone trusts Tucker. Everyone trusts him of what he reports on and what he does, and he's totally independent of all these state-owned medias, ABC, CBS, NBC, CNBC, MSNBC, all these, CNN, all these are bought and paid for by the state, by the corporations and the state, the government of the United States. They're all bought and paid for, and they just do what the government and the corporations tell them to do, because that's who pays them, right? Bought and paid for. There's no real journalism anymore, except for some of these independent guys like Tucker Carlson and Brand. He's a British guy, and their eyes have been opened, and they're awake now. 5 years ago they weren't, but now they've awakened, and then now they do independent truth journalism, and they're blowing the lid off of all these lies and all this evil shit that the governments and the corporations have been pushing on the people all over the world. And this whole thing that happened 3 years ago with the medical interventions that happened, that forced people to, if they didn't take it, they lost their jobs, and forcing them to not be with their loved ones when they were dying. I mean, all this horrendous, tyrannical stuff was pushed on the people, and I think most of the people now, 3-4 years later, understand what the hell happened there and how they got duped. I didn't do any of that stuff. I knew point blank right away what was going on, because I've been awake for 20-some years. So a lot of people are still asleep to what's going on. And there's only 2 choices. You only have 2 choices right now, people. Which one is, you need to take out the evil that's in your country. The people of the country need to take their country back from the evil that's controlling it. Or if you don't, a foreign nation's going to do it for you. And then your life is going to be hell. Because in order for that to happen, there's neutron bombs, nuclear bombs, you name it. You know, invasions where everyone gets killed or raped or worse, right? That's what happens when foreign nations take your country. This can all happen. And in my opinion, God has turned his back on the evil of what's going on in the U.S. They're the ones that spread the evil throughout the world with their U.S. dollar, world reserve currency. They've spread all this evil and corruption all over the world, right? Where several decades ago, they were the light of the world, and everyone looked to them, and everyone loved the U.S. and stuff. That's completely the opposite now. The world hates the U.S. They hate what they've done, just like the imperialism that the British Empire once was. They were the power of the world before the U.S. was, right? They controlled India. Watch the movie RRR, Triple R. Just look it up on Netflix and watch it, RRR. And it'll show you right now how much the Indians hate the literal guts of the Brits, of British people. Watch it. The movie will scream to you how the Indian people hate
the British and the English. I guarantee you that India is part of the BRICS nations. They've already joined China and Russia and Brazil and now Saudi Arabia and Iran. India has, right? You don't hear that usually, but that's the truth. And to know what the people think about the U.S. and about Britain, watch the movie RRR. I'm telling you, your mind will be blown how India are like the entire Middle East and the whole Eastern world with how they hold gold as wealth, gold and silver. They're huge on it. And India has the second biggest population. I believe it's the second largest population on the planet. That's right, India. So you guys really got to understand what's going on. And don't listen to these lying, state-controlled media that's on TV, Fox News, all these channels. It's all bull crap, lies and warmongering, wanting to take out and kill and slaughter innocent people throughout the world. And that's what both Britain and the U.S. has done for hundreds of years. Right? Before it was Britain that did it hundreds of years ago, and now within the last 100 years it's been the U.S. doing the same shit but worse. And that everything is so in chaos and out of control right now that we are on the edge. We are on the precipice. And what are they going to do to stop it? They're going to clamp down from another virus that escapes on purpose again, or a financial collapse where they'll take all the money from everybody, all the money you ever had. Oh, there's an ambulance. Ambulance going by. So see, we have ambulance service here too. And we're in the deep jungle, but that's the way it is in the Philippines. There's clinics and there's services like that everywhere. Everywhere where there's a road, right? There's not many roads in the Philippines because it's so mountainous. What islands that are 7,000 islands are mostly mountainous, right? An old volcano on the mountain, so the whole thing is just a big mountain or several mountains. But they're still like this. All these videos I post, right? Starlink, boom. All these, I'm connected, right? So where was I? Yeah, so they'll find a way to take people out. I mean, if you don't know about the Georgia Guidestones, do a deep dive on that. It's now just been destroyed, but for about 20 years, they had set up these huge monoliths of stones. And when I say they, like, watch the movie They Live. They are the people that are controlling the deep state and the governments throughout the world. They in the movie They Live are alien beings that have taken over all the heads of corporations, all the heads of governments, all the people that are in the key places to control the population of the world. And it'll blow your mind. They Live. It's from the 80s. It's an absolute must watch of what's going on in the earth right now in this world that you live in. And they control everything, and they don't care. They don't give two shits about the people, the humans in the world. That's why this whole thing that happened the last 3 years, where they forced us into lockdowns and everything else, and all the crap they put in us and all that, the ones that accepted it, just like that's coming again, where they're gonna be forcing you to accept the mark, which is an injectable microchip or a tattoo that when you can't buy or sell or anything, right, without this mark or this tattoo or this microchip that they're going to install in you. I mean, there's so many ways that they can do it where you won't be able to have a bank account or have money in a digital wallet on your phone or anything without this mark. And it's very clear in Revelations about the mark 666. And it's all true and it's gonna happen. You could see it coming. I mean, everything's gonna go to digital. They're already clamping down big time on paper cash because it's failing all over the world so fast. And these central bank digital currencies, it's all digital money, and that's how it's gonna be controlled. Everything's gonna go down to nothing, and people are gonna be screaming, where's my Social Security? Where's my pension? Where's all my money in my bank? Where, you know, and they're gonna be starving, and then they're gonna already have the solution. They already do. It's just a matter of them, after the people are suffering greatly for several months, then they're gonna say, okay, all you have to do is take this injection of this microchip, or take this tattoo, and it's invisible tattoo that we're going to put on your forehead, and we're going to put it on your right hand, or we're going to inject this thing under the skin so you won't see it on your forehead and under your right hand, and then we're going to give you $1 million. That's what they're going to say to everyone in the world. Come and get the injection or the tattoo, and then we're going to give you $1 million. So come on, everybody's going to have awesome prosperity again. And so 90% of the entire world population is going to do it, right? Because they're all going to get huge free money, and they don't even know what they're doing, because that's all people care about in this world right now is money, 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 money. You really have to know Bible prophecy, what you're committing. You're committing, if you take that mark, that injected microchip, or that tattoo, your soul and the soul of all of your family and loved ones is completely damned to hell for eternity. For eternity. Because then what they're going to require you to do once you take this mark is
Are you still talking?
What?
Are you
Yes,
still
yes, I
talking?
am. Are you still being bad, Filipina?
Nobody's perfect, hon, but I love you.
Oh, you should. Where's the butter?
Inside.
Okay.
I like teasing her. So, and most Filipina don't like teasing from the foreigner. So, remember that. But I still do it. Because you have to have a levity. Because they're usually very serious. And they're so happy when your check comes in or your remittance comes in. They're so happy and sweet. But when the money starts going down low and they can't get what they want, oh, good luck to you. They're going to be going ballistic on you. So you have to keep that in mind, and just don't give in to it. Just do the best you can with what you have, but don't go crazy with your money, because I did that. It was a huge mistake at the beginning of my relationship with my Filipina. Is I spoiled her, and because I saw the conditions she lived in before I met her. She lived in a bamboo hut, a shack. Rats coming in at night and nibbling on her toes and fingers. I shit you not. That's the kind of condition she was living in before I met her. But then I spoiled her, bought her lots of shoes and clothes and gold and jewelry and makeup and all that stuff. And, built the mansion for her and all that. Well, that was great, I thought, but it was wrong answer. Because then it's like their whole family becomes jealous of her, and then they all want the money, and then there's huge arguments and hatred back and forth. And then once I realized what's going on and the money is running out, then I have to cut back. And when I cut back, it was 3 solid years of a living hell, trying to cope with the situation of letting her learn that we just don't have it. If I had it, I would give it, but I don't have it anymore. And I did that by design, because I know the poorer you are, the closer you are to Christ. And I wanted to get rid of it all to set us up, the solar and everything that we needed to sustain ourselves for a couple decades until I'm dead. A secure place to raise my child and to raise my autistic son John, and to be safe in case anything happens, right? And then live on a tight, modest budget. And boy, but it was tough though. It was tough, but you got to stand your ground. As long as you're married in the Philippines, there's nothing that can. The only thing you can do is make a mistake by abandoning your Filipina. Don't ever do that, because then you will lose everything. So don't ever abandon. Just stand your ground. You're the man. You're the head of the house. Your guidance from Christ beats all. And when things really get bad, just call in the name of Jesus Christ to help you, and you'll be fine, right? And my wife is very loving and very loyal, but good luck to her words. If you piss them off, I've been nuked by her words hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of times. I call when she loses it going nuclear, right? And she will. Well, I guarantee you she will. Not all Filipinas are like I'm describing my wife, but a lot of them are, because they get afraid that, we're going to be destitute and go back to the poor life that she had. And then when she gets afraid because she's not relying on Jesus, because their Filipinos are so emotional, right? Their emotions on their shirt sleeve all the time. They live complete emotion, and that's the way women are, right? In Filipinas, it's like 10 times a regular woman as far as passion. They're passionate. They're passionate in the bedroom. They're passionate in their love. They're passionate in their family, and they're passionate in their faith. They're passionate in everything. But passionate when it gets to the time when they're mad, good luck to you. Good luck. It's all you're gonna have to do to keep a sane mind and a clear head, and to calm yourself and just walk away. And then in an hour or two, she's going to be completely like she don't even know what happened. That's the way it is with Filipinos and most women. But like I say, Filipinos is times 10 of everything, because of their passion is so big all the time, which that can be a good thing, right? But also can be bad. But the good is more than the bad. So just remember that, right? Because throughout life, no matter what you're doing, there's going to be good and bad. So just focus on the good and endure. It's Jesus called long suffering. In the Bible it says the good, obedient Christian is the long suffering, right? And that is huge, because what did Jesus Christ do for us? Long suffered, right? Long suffered, super sacrificed his whole life for us, right? And just think of the pain and suffering that Jesus Christ went through for us, right? It's just blows my mind. If you watch the movie Passion of the Christ, made by Mel Gibson, right? Passion of the Christ. Watch that. You'll be crying because of what Jesus had to go through, and how he showed his love, sacrificing himself for us, right? It's the biggest. Love is the biggest, absolute biggest thing that there is. And a father, Father God, will go through, put himself, his son, Jesus Christ, on the cross and took that suffering. He could have at any second said, wipe all these people out, wipe the whole Roman Empire off the map of the earth. He could have done that at any moment, at any time he wanted. But he knew what he had to do to save their souls, because he loves us so much. So yeah, it's a no-brainer. So anyway, I'm gonna let you guys go. That's it for today. Just all I can say is you guys have to really think of, really deeply think, is my family safe where I live? Am I going to be able to suffer here if the grid goes down, there's no electricity? Am I going to have enough food? Am I going to be able to have water? Is you know, do I have a future where I live right now? That's the kind of questions you need to ask yourself, because in the Philippines, I mean, God told me to come to the Philippines because I can survive here with my family, right? And I have a future here. Because, I mean, you might be married, think everything's fine in the US or some other country, then just out of the blue, your wife's gonna say, I want a divorce. We've grown apart, I want a divorce. You can't do anything about it because it's forced. The law's there. All she has to do is go to a lawyer and file, and you're screwed. Half or more than half of everything that you have is gone overnight. Gone. And the kids are pulled away from you. She 90% of the time they get custody. Plus then they force you to pay, on top of everything that you lose, a monthly alimony and a monthly child support. So good luck. I mean, you are so, and the child support is through the roof. You cannot survive. I mean, it's very hard for you to survive in those kind of conditions. And everything that you did, all the hard work you did to marry, the cost of marrying, the cost of a home, all considering your wife and your children and everything that you did, just overnight, just because the woman said for any reason she wants, oh, I've fallen out of love with you, that's just the way it is, you know. So goodbye. I'm going to take the kids, I'm going to take all your money, I'm going to take everything and leave you destitute. That's the power that the whole divorce laws have in the US and these other countries. So you guys got to wake up. Get to the Philippines. It's all illegal. The Constitution protects the family. That's why there'll never be divorce laws in the Philippines. So all you that think there's going to be divorce laws in the Philippines, they'd have to repeal their Constitution. Repeal the Constitution. That doesn't happen. It's very, very, very rare in the history of the world repealing a constitution of a country. The only time a constitution changes in a country is if it's been overtaken by a foreign power. Then the Constitution goes down to nothing because it's replaced by the victor. So anyways, oh, we got some good sun going on now. Yeah, we're kicking butt, making lots of good power on the solar system, making about 9 to 10,000 kilowatt hours right now. Or, you know, and that's, when I say 9 to 10,000, that's watts. And it's kilowatts is, so we're making 9 kilowatts or 9,000 watts, right? So I'll show you real quick out here. This is my meters. This is my net. I'm on the net metering system in the Philippines. It's law in the Philippines now. So this here is just what my solar system does. This is just the watts that my solar system alone makes, and then this is a combination of what the solar system is importing or exporting onto the grid, and it's also shows what I'm importing from the grid for my usage. And I've signed what's called a net metering agreement, which it's been black and white what they have to pay me in credits, which is subtracted off of my monthly bill. Now, they're really messed up because they're very slow in the Philippines, and it's been since August of 2023 was the last time I received a bill, and that's when they installed that net meter. So it's been from August, and now it's February. I still haven't received an electric bill. I shit you not, because they don't know how to construct an electric bill that shows credits, ingoing imports to outgoing exports, and how the credit system works according to the net metering contract agreement that they are the ones that constructed. Yeah, good luck in the Philippines. You just have to have super big patience, and whatever you do, you have to watch their math, because their math is always wrong 90% of the time. So you have to double check all that stuff, make sure you're not getting screwed. So don't ever just pay automatically to anything. You have to watch it. You have to watch everything in the Philippines. So anyways, I'm gonna let you guys go. I love you, take care, and God bless you all. Bye-bye.